Welcome to Perimenopause, where we drink beer and talk about menopause. Perimenopause. First episode.
Yay! And we're basically just spending this time right now to introduce ourselves and talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we got here and drink beer.
Yes. And what, yeah. And you are?
So my name is Tammy. And we can go into more details. Tell us who you are and then we can open our beer.
I am Danielle, and that's who I am.
For now.
Yeah.
So we have beers that we're drinking.
Yes.
So not the same beer, but like good beer,
different
probably.
beers, because we're in different countries at this moment. Not that that makes a difference in the beer, but still.
Right. So we are multinational. I am in Canada and Danielle is in Michigan, but we are probably like 30 minutes away from each other. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, very close. So
right there.
Anyway, but that's why we're doing this like this way, because we're not going to actually like physically be together. Anyway.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking Hella Pink from
Nice.
Ferndale Project here where I live, near Ferndale. It is a Hellas lager. It's really, really, really good and is my favorite style of beer, as evidenced by my Instagram handle.
Yes. I also have a European style beer. I have a Westmalle triple. It's from Belgium. Beer. It's an Abbey style beer, and basically, Danielle was commenting that it's high ABV. What is this? A triple? It is 9.5%. But we are afternoon, and my husband doesn't always like the same beer that I do, so I drink what he doesn't want to drink. So that's why I'm having this one, and it's a smaller bottle, so whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
This is only 4.7. It's very style appropriate.
You could have a bunch of those.
I could. I have a bunch. All right.
And I think, I don't know, I find when I am hosting a meeting or if I do my other YouTube stuff, having the beer just really kind of helps me.
Absolutely.
Be more chatty, I guess. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh dear.
This does not retain as much foam as I wanted it to. So, here we go.
That's really nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's a beaut.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in Michigan, you could go to this brewery that Danielle's beer is from, and it'll be great because their beer is great. If you're in Michigan, you could probably also buy this at a store.
Right.
Yeah. So
Cheers.
yeah. Cheers.
Click.
Oh, clink.
Ugh.
There was a long time where I didn't like Belgian styles, and I don't know that I still love them. But if it's higher ABV, like the triple or the dark strong or the golden strong, I really like those. I don't know why, but anyway.
I think Westmalle is my favorite of the ones I can get here right now.
Yeah.
I don't really like Belgians either. I liked them in Belgium, and I like them when they're from Belgium, but when they're here, I can't do it.
Yeah.
When they're real.
It's had to travel and
Yeah.
So, okay. How did we get here? What are we doing?
How did we get here?
Well, do you want to go first or do you want me to talk first?
I'll say we got here because we both work in the alcohol industry and we're both in our 40s and we're both dealing with perimenopause in a lot of ways that are different and the same. And one day we said, you know what we should do? We should start a podcast and talk about it. So I feel like that's how we got here. So,
yeah, I feel like every time we get together, we have a new complaint or issue or something. And then I always joke but it's not really a joke. And I say like it's perimenopause because just everything at this point in our life is perimenopause probably. And so
yeah,
then we saw each other like 2 days later and you said, we should do a podcast and we should call it perimenopause. And I was like, best name ever. We're doing it.
She came to me in the shower. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like the only time I have to like think about things because nothing else is happening, you know?
Yeah.
So
it was incredible.
We have lots of things that we want to talk about, and hopefully they're interesting to you if you're listening. But basically,
hopefully they're relatable.
Yeah.
And something that maybe that people haven't thought about or didn't think was like normal. Or maybe don't have somebody to like talk to about these things.
Right.
You can talk to us. We're going to talk to you, at you.
We're going to talk, with you.
With you.
About you, over you. But like, I feel like we need to have a disclaimer, like just in case, but like Danielle said, we are in the fermented beverage industry. We are not doctors or literally like I don't even remember when I last had first aid training. So
fair enough.
If we ever share something, it's personal or we have like some sort of documentation, journal article, website, etc., to back it up. So, you know, if we make a suggestion, don't be like, well, Tammy and Danielle said, so I'm going to do it. Don't do it. Just, do your own research.
Do that.
Yeah. Don't do
that.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
So, yeah. I don't know. So that's how we ended up with the podcast. But why don't, like, I don't even know if I know the story, but why don't we talk about how we got into the industry? I know you wanted to talk about, like, gateway beer. And for me, maybe that kind of ties in as well. But, like, I don't know. Do you want to start with either of those? How you got into the industry or your beer?
So I always, well, not always, but I've liked beer and like Michigan craft beer and just like craft beer for a really long time. And in 2017, I found this group called Girls Pint Out. And it was like a social, slightly educational group of women who would go out to breweries and places and meet up together. And it was really cool. So they kind of disappeared in 2018, the Detroit chapter, because this was a national organization. And in 2019, I found that they were looking for a chapter leader for Detroit. So I assumed that role. And pretty much right after I did, a woman named Annette found me. And I don't know, she plucked me out of the air and just pushed me and pushed me and pushed me to learn more and to take classes. And eventually in 2022, I quit my job and went to school for brewing. And now I work at a brewery and am continuing my education still. It's all because of that group and her finding me.
Yeah.
That is how I came to be here.
And that is a good person to know, and we'll probably mention her
it's amazing.
A lot on this podcast.
Like a lot. Yeah.
What were you doing before all of this? What was your job?
My job, I worked for the city of Oak Park in the recreation department for 5 years.
Okay.
It was great. It was union. It was Monday through Friday in the mornings. I had every night and weekend and holiday off. I had paid time off. I could ride my bike to work. And now I work at nighttime.
Yeah.
On my feet.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. I was 37 and I feels like I came late to this party, but, I mean, I'm not saying I regret it. It is definitely like a thing that I miss sometimes, but I don't like regret the change.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a lot better without me at that office. So, good for them.
The other day, my mom suggested I get some sort of like office type job. And I was like, I don't know. Like that just sounds really, like sitting at a desk and like, working on a computer, I'm like, I don't think I could do that. So
I don't know if I could go back to it. Yeah.
Well,
so
my journey is a little similar but different. But basically, like, we'll go back a ways. So I graduated from college in 2004. Go Gophers. I went to Minnesota. Yep. And
Minnesota.
I know, Minnesota.
Thank you.
That was where I first like tried beer. And I remember like being at a bar with my friend and she was like, wouldn't it be cool to like have a brewery? And in my mind, there weren't a lot of craft breweries back then. Like it was still like a lot of like macro stuff. And and I was like, well, people like, how do you do that? Like, how do you just be a brewer? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was always like in the back of my mind. And then I did a lot of maybe similar stuff, but like I worked in like environmental education. I worked at a zoo and then an animal hospital. And I was like, thought I would be going down the animal path. And then I moved to Canada because I met my husband. And basically I didn't have any job experience. We were in Quebec, so I didn't speak French. So it was like just getting a job was really hard. So I kind of went back to that like brewing idea. And my husband's like, well, why don't we get like a kit and learn how to brew? Or you can do it. So that's what we did. We bought a kit from the store, the homebrew supply store. And then I ended up getting hired there. It was like winemaking center and then also homebrew like supplies and equipment. So I made a lot of wine too, but I worked there for like almost 3 years. And then I decided to go back to school and I went back to school for brewing. I started in August and I turned 37 in September. And so it was the same age.
So yeah.
Yep. And I was like probably as old as I could be. Like I could have been the mother of a lot of the kids in the program. They were like 20 or 21.
Dude.
Yeah. So
the whole thing.
Yeah. So I did the program, like it finished during COVID, like that was all weird. But then I ended up applying for a job at a brewery in Ontario. We moved to Ontario. I've been in a couple different breweries here and maybe we'll talk about that at some point. But now I'm at a winery. So now I've been in wine production for almost 3 years. So yeah. And at some point, like we still are interested in maybe opening a brewery or something like that. But, when I think about it now, it's crazy because I've like been in the industry for 10 years and in production for like 6 years. And it's just like, but like you said, like it hurts. I come home and I hurt and I'm tired, but at least I'm not sitting at a desk and I feel like I've done work, like I've accomplished things and I'm not like, oh, what did I do today? Like I sent some email, like I'm actually like doing tasks.
You're tired for a reason, not just because you've been awake since 7 or whatever it was. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm tired for a lot of reasons, but mostly the physical labor. But so that's how I ended up in this industry, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome. When you went to Niagara, right?
No, I went to a small school in Quebec called Sherbrooke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I applied to Niagara College many times, but I didn't live in Ontario, so I was always kind of like waitlisted.
Oh, okay.
I went to a school in Quebec, and it was a shorter program, and it was cheaper, and there were a lot of things happening, so it was like that was the best decision at the time. Now the program is gone. When I started, it had been there like 2 years, like maybe I was the third class and now it's gone. And then there's another program in Alberta that's gone at the end of the semester. So like, it's
crazy.
Yeah. The industry is like weird.
Yeah. When I first heard about the Schoolcraft program, there was like waitlist after waitlist, like 50 people deep to get on these classes. And I don't know if it was COVID. I mean, it was like 2019 when I heard about it, but I don't know if like COVID like changed everybody's like job paths or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When I was there, like there was sometimes like 3 people in a class. Like it was crazy. Yeah.
My program had 9.
Yeah.
And one of them left midway through. But like Niagara always has like 19 or 20, and same with the Alberta. And so I was just like, how do you all get in there and like do stuff? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was a small program. There were only 3 women. One was there kind of by default because she registered for a different program that had been canceled. So she's like, well, I'm here. I guess I'll just do this. So yeah. Yeah.
I just feel like giving my money back. I'm going to go home. I guess.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think of the 9, well, let's say 8 of us that finished, I think 3 of us are working in the industry still. I don't think anyone else is.
I think from the class that I was in, and I want to say they were probably the same amount, and I don't remember any other women, but it might have just been me. I think I'm the only one right now.
Like at a brewery. Yeah.
Like I know somebody who is like he's like home brewing, and he's really, really good at it. And he also does like graphic design and like artistry. But, but yeah, everybody else, it was like, everybody was like trying to start their own brewery. And I was the only one who was like, I 100% am not here for that. I already work in a brewery. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the only one that actually wanted to start a brewery. The other 2 are just brewing, but you know, I don't know.
It was cool. I felt like a little bit like I had some skills that the people in my class didn't have because they were all home brewers. Yeah. So like working in like the school brew house and like attaching hoses with tri-clamps. Mm-hmm. You don't use that sort of equipment at home. So I had like the little snap, and they were like, how'd you do that? I was like, oh, well, I'm really good.
We had like a lesson one time on malt, and it was like, if you saw malt with like a 1.5 Lavi bond, like what kind of malt would it be? And I was like, oh, like pale or 2 or whatever. And like, this other woman, there was one other woman I became like pretty good friends with. She was even older than I was. So like another kind of career change, but she was just like one of those people that like needed to be like the top student. And so she'd be like, well, how do you know that? Like, we didn't learn that. And I was like, well, I worked at a home brew supply store for 3 years, and I sold a lot of malt. I milled a lot of malt, you know, I homebrewed. So yeah, I had a lot of that kind of background knowledge, which helped, I think. Yeah. So
I worked in the homebrew shop at Cadillac Supply for like 6 months. It felt like longer, but it was when I was starting school, and I was also working at the other brewery. So I felt like that was a huge learning opportunity. I learned a lot about malt and yeast, a little bit about hops, but just, it was very cool. It was very helpful.
I think that's a good way to learn. There aren't a lot of those stores anymore. Like even where I am, we only have one, and it's okay. But like, if you can get into like one of those places and just learn from, you know.
Yeah. Very helpful.
Yeah. Did you have then, like, you said you always drank beer, and I was probably different because I was very nervous. I didn't drink till I was 21, but I know.
That's so cute.
I know. Like the only person I know growing up, and now look at me. But did you have like a craft beer that sucked you into this industry?
Yeah, it was Two Hearted, actually, in like 2007. I was dating this guy for like a month, and we were going somewhere, and for some reason he had bottles in his car, and we were like parked before this event, and he was like, hey, do you want one of these? And I was like, I like Rolling Rock, actually.
Oh my God.
But that was my college beer. I loved it. Oh, so good. So, but he gave me one, and I was like, it was like going from 0 to 60. Like, that's a really bitter, very intense, very flavorful beer, coming from Rolling Rock. And I was like, it was like a cartoon where like your eyes turn into like, you know, like the pupil blows out. And I was like, what is this? So I was hooked on that for a little bit. I don't really like it now, but it woke me up. Yeah.
So literally I have like the same story. So when I was in college, I used to drink Rolling Rock because you could get the little pony bottles.
So cute.
that were 7 ounces. Like that was
Mhm.
a perfect amount. Plus I was like, it's in a green bottle and like I love green. It's whatever. And then I was dating a guy who was a bartender at this bar downtown. I don't even know how I ended up at this bar, but it became like my like hangout. And
cool.
this was 2006.
Okay.
And I went one afternoon and he was like, I don't know. I ordered a beer and he was like, oh, we have this thing like Two Hearted. And like back then, it like no one really knew like IPA. It was just like it was called Two Hearted. So I didn't even know what kind of beer it was. And I tried it and I was like, well, this is beer, because when you're in the Midwest, beer is like Milwaukee's Best and Shell and like, you know, all these like Miller, like all the light kind of macro beers. And I was like, oh my God, this has like flavor in it. And so that was like my beer. And I left the Midwest. I didn't see Two Hearted for a long time until I was in like Vermont, and like there was like one store on the border that had it. So I'd buy like a 6-pack. And now I'm like, like I just remember thinking when I was younger, like, oh my God, if I could just go to Bell's like to visit, that would be like the best day of my life. And now it's like right there. And I've been like twice and I did the tour and I was like, I took a picture with the pot and like, you know, all this stuff. And I was like, just like such a dork about it. But now it's so close and I love it. So I still drink Two Hearted, and they have the whole expanded line now and I love pretty much all of them. So
really?
Yeah, I like the Imperial. I like the Hazy.
Okay.
I haven't tried the Cold Hearted.
I think I've had the Cold Hearted.
Yeah, I haven't had the Light Hearted.
Yeah.
There's an
I can handle lighthearted, but I'm just not. I feel like I've always said like beer drinkers tend to have like an arc of like what kind of beers they drink, and it follows like your age. So like you start out with like light crushy beers because you're probably in college or high school or something, and you're going to get the cheap ones and drink 18 of them, and that's fine. And then you kind of graduate to something a little darker, a little maltier, like Guinness. You find you like that, or Amberbach. I liked that early on. And then you taste an IPA and you have this revelation, and then you drink IPAs for like 12 years. And then one day you're in your late 30s and you're like, I have acid reflux all the time and I want to eat food with my beer. So you moved out lagers again. Like that's what happened to me. Anyway.
I'm not there yet because I'm finding more and more now. I like this like kind of made up style West Coast Pilsner.
Okay.
Or like a New Zealand Pilsner where it's a lager, it's light, but it's really hoppy.
Yeah.
Those I appreciate, but I'm still like IPA. And when I met my husband, he didn't drink beer at all. And I was kind of like, well, we're doing it. So I got him like on the IPA. And so now that's kind of like his favorite, or sours. And so usually when I buy beer for us like together, it's an IPA. And honestly, it's usually a hazy, but mainly because we can't find good West Coast IPAs anywhere. So, yeah.
I got really like deep into hazy IPAs in like 2019 and 2020. And that was all I drank. And now like certain ones, I can't even like smell them without getting like heartburn or something. Like I mean, I went like really hard. Like I was laid off in 2020, so I had nothing but time, and it was summer. What was I going to do but drink outside, you know? So I went a little far. So now I want to see through it if I can. I'll sprinkle them in, but you know.
I mean, I feel like as a brewer, I love seeing my beer like super clear, because that means I like did a good job, but that doesn't necessarily mean like that's what I want to be drinking, you know?
Yeah. So no, I get it.
Anyway.
Yeah. I get it.
So that's so funny.
And I think I ranted to you once about how people think that because it's like yellow that it's not worthy. Yeah. I can't even right now. It's going to make me mad.
Okay. We'll save that for another time where we can talk about beer stereotypes.
Yes.
Well, so then do you have a desert island beer? Because honestly, like I was probably going to say Bell's.
Yeah.
Maybe like a mix pack, and then I could have like all the different ones. Yeah.
That's fair.
It's just classic. Yeah.
my desert island beer, Miller Lite, if it's like American, if it's
Okay.
like out of this country, I would say
Mm-hmm.
like one of the like German
Mm-hmm.
Helleses like you would get at Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I like Löwenbräu. Am I
Uh-huh.
saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my favorite one there,
Okay.
for sure. They're all the same. What am I saying?
They are kind of all the same.
Mm.
Yeah, like I do love the IPAs, but if I needed something like flavorful, I do
Yeah.
like the West Coast Pilsner that I got at where we went, Urban Rest in
Oh yeah. That
also
was
in
good.
Ferndale. That
Yeah.
one was good. It was light, but it's like an IPA, like it's so hoppy. Um, and yeah, if I was picking something like foreign, honestly, I'd probably like pick some sort of like Vienna lager or like a Mexican lager, which is a Vienna lager, but like something light and
Yeah.
but like has a little more like color and malt. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would say. Yeah.
I think my second international option would be like a Japanese rice lager.
Okay.
I love those so very much. So good.
Um, Casey, who we know at Big Lake
Yes.
in somewhere Michigan, I don't know where it is.
I know. I can't remember.
Um, she just brewed a double rice IPA something.
Did she?
Yeah. So
That could be good.
that sounds interesting to me.
That sounds good.
And
Is
I'll drink
Drippa a
it.
double rice IPA?
Double, yeah, I
Yeah.
could look it up later, but yeah, double rice something IPA and like I'm like, great, I'll drink it. Sounds great. Would I want to make
Yeah.
it? No, because I brewed with rice before many times. It's
Oh
horrible.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Is
it's
it just like
your mash turns into this is one of those perimenopause moments with words. Paper mache. That's what it looks like. It looks
oh
like
my
paste,
God.
like glue paste. It's horrific.
Yeah.
And
I
like
cleaned our mash tun twice yesterday because we double batched our check pills at work.
mhm,
And that was hard enough. Yeah.
yeah.
So no. No.
Yeah.
No. I know
But like
we had one at where I work, but I think it was before I worked there, and I thought it was the best thing that he'd ever made, and he hated it, our brewer,
okay.
because he made it like real traditional because it was like his first one, so he used like Sriracha Ace like only, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my favorite hop. And
Okay.
some people perceive it as like lemon or like
Mm-hmm.
lemon balm or even like a little bit of green onion,
Oh,
lovely.
yeah.
He perceived it as dill, and like
Yeah.
that's not a lager flavor. So he
Yeah.
hated it. And I was like the only one who drank it. So he's like, yeah, we're not doing that again.
Well, I heard at some point, and I can't remember where, but the demand for Sriracha Ace like has gone down.
Yeah.
And so they're not growing as much. And so people that have these lagers that are like based on that hop are trying to find
Yeah.
substitutes, which there aren't because it's like the only hop from Japan.
Yeah.
And I don't like things that are like lemony, so I never was like on board with
Okay.
that hop.
I get that.
But that's interesting.
I
Have you got
had
those
I had a
flavors?
Japanese rice lager at a local brewery like last week, and
Mm.
the first pint that I had, it was like, this is great. It went down really easy. I think I was like a little dehydrated. And then the second one, I was like, I don't know if I like this that much. And I
Yeah.
asked what was in it, and they said Mount Hood, Cascade, and like a sprinkle of Sriracha Ace. And I was like, oh, that'll do it. Yeah. Like, call it something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they probably can't get it, so they can't like hop the whole thing with it, you know?
Yeah. I
So.
know. I got it.
Well, so we sort of just touched on this, but like beer being situational. What are your thoughts on that?
How do you mean?
Well, I see it as like the right beer for the right moment or being in the right place. So the way I see it is like I said, I don't really drink a lot of light beers, but like if I'm some are hot, or, like if we go to, my husband's mother is from the Caribbean. So like if we're there, it's like all we're getting is lager, but it's like you're by the beach and it's hot and like, okay, or like a radler. Yeah.
Oh.
The other thing I see it as is when you are in a certain place, like traveling. And again, I was not super huge on German styles of beer, but then I got to go to Germany 2 years ago, year and a half ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're sitting in the beer garden that's been there for 500 years.
Yeah.
And it was made like across the street, and it's like $5 for a liter, and you're eating this like heavy, like fried and cheesy food. It's just like, yeah, this is the best thing I've ever had. Yeah. And I know you've traveled,
like
so
they know something. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you what do you feel? Have you been in that like situation?
You and I have both traveled a lot, I think, internationally. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, so 2 years ago, my husband and I went to the Czech Republic not just to do the Luker Tapster training, but because we wanted to go to like where Pilsner is from.
Yeah.
And when we got to Pilsen, the city of Pilsner, we went to a bar, and it was like, I don't know, it was like 8:00. I was tired, and we had to get up really early, and I wanted to be like fresh for this training because it was like 9 hours, and
okay, yeah.
I was like sick from the train. But we sat at this bar, and we had a tank pour of Pilsner or Quell, because that's all you can get.
Okay.
And man, it was like, I remember like he took a picture of me like taking a sip, and I was just like it was just so good. And I have a lot of like memories of like being on a trip like that. Like it's a really long story, but we accidentally climbed a mountain this one time in Italy. It was really dumb. And when we got to the end, after I was like complaining the entire time because it was like 1,000 degrees out, and why are we doing this? We should have just walked. Anyway, we got down to the bottom, and after I actually kissed the ground, we went and got food and a beer, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine now. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. I'll do this every day. Like, yeah. It just, and I'll never forget that beer. Like,
yeah, like I have like 2 quick stories, but when I was on that Germany trip, I also went to Austria, and I went to Stiegl to do the tour. So oldest brewery in Austria. And as you go throughout the tour, like on the different stops or whatever, like you do the whole building. It's huge. You get to do beer tastings, and I was like sick, but I'm like, I'm here, so I'm gonna drink. And there was a section where they had a tank, and it was like, I mean, basically a Keller beer because it's a lager, but it's not filtered. Yes. And so they're like, you can pour your own beer. And they had all these glasses out, and I there were like maybe 6 people on our tour, and I was, I made it known that like I brewed beer and stuff, and I knew how to do this. And so they're like, oh, you need to go first and pour your own beer or whatever. And so just pouring like a Keller beer in the basement of this brewery was like amazing. 100% don't really remember what it tasted like, but I just remember the moment.
Yeah.
And then my other story is a same trip when I was with my group of Pink Boots ladies. We went to Schneiderweisse, which is wheat beer. Okay. So they used to be based in Munich. After World War II, they moved to this little town called Kelheim. And we sat there, we were going to eat and then take a tour. And all of us were kind of like, yeah, like wheat beer, it's okay, whatever. But they have a lot of beers there that you can't try outside of like the brewery or Germany. Okay.
Of course.
So when we got there, they're like, order lunch, which is, like heavy, right?
Yeah.
And then they brought out every single beer that they offer. Maybe like 10 different beers. And we got to meet their like production manager, who is like the sweetest man ever. And then we got to meet their brewer, Joseph, who is like also like my age. So we all had the beer, we had lunch, and then they're like, oh, what do you like? Well, what should we order more of? And like, the funny thing is that we were supposed to do the tour first, but we were late, so we had lunch because Joseph had to leave. So by the time we got to the tour, we were like just totally blitzed because most of their beer is like 7, 8, 9%, you know?
Oh, wow.
But we all said, like, coming into this, we weren't wheat beer people, and we all have, even years later, we're like, that was our favorite brewery, our favorite memory, like the best beer. Yeah. And so it's situational, but like you're in this like small town, you're with the people that make the beer. Like it's just so crazy to be like, I met the guy that makes this beer that goes, worldwide. There's like a little stream, they have their own hop farm. Like it was so cute. So yeah.
I love places like that.
I know.
We did the Stiegel tour too. And on that trip, we started at Oktoberfest, like the first weekend of Oktoberfest, which is a bad idea. But so we went to Stiegel, and I had like a ton of beer on this trip. And the Stiegel Hell was my favorite Hellas on that whole trip. Like not even like a Bavarian beer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I was ranking them the whole time. I had notes, but I think I deleted them. Like Löwenbräu, like, yeah, okay, great, because we got to like sit with people and it was nice out and it was beautiful. Yeah. Stiegel was number one. It was great. Yeah. The Pilsner Urquell brewery tour in Pilsen touts itself as the best brewery tour in Europe.
Okay.
And I feel a lot of times, like when you go on one, you've kind of gone on all of them. Yeah. That is the one to do. That one's incredible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, it was worth the $25 or whatever it was. Like, it was awesome. You get to go like in the cool, like the lager, like the salt cellars that they used to be, or like ice caves or something.
Yeah.
And then I just found out recently that the big topless barrels where they like open ferment, are just for show. They're full of beer though, so I don't really know. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So then they just
open lager, not open ferment. They're not fermented.
Okay. Huh.
I don't know. It was cool.
I think that's too like why we loved Schneider Weisse, because one, found out that the beer that I really like, the Aventinus and then the Eisbach, was conceptualized by a woman. So it's been family run like the whole time, but at some point her husband died and she ran the company, but she couldn't actually be the face of the company. It was like her son or something, but it was her idea. So I was like, go girl. And then we got to see all of the open fermentation.
So cool.
Fermenters. Yeah. And like how they harvest the yeast and everything. And then we got to see how they remove alcohol for their alcohol free. And then the ice block chamber where they freeze it. And then you have like a higher ABV. Like, it was just like, it was so great. Yeah. It was so amazing. It was like, oh, you want to go here? Yeah, let's go there. Like, oh, you want to see this? Cool. Yeah, let's go see that. You know, like, yeah, so awesome. So awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Now I want to go to Europe again.
Yeah, I know. Same.
No, always. I always want to go to Europe or somewhere.
Always.
So, anyway.
Where would you go right now if you could go?
In Europe or in general?
In Europe.
In Europe? I kind of have two places. Like, my husband has never been there with me, so I would like to take him to like Switzerland and Germany, and then like Czech Republic is like pretty close.
Yeah.
I would like to do that. And specifically, I'd like to go to Bamberg and see Weyermann and have Rauch beer.
That's cool.
But my other want to do is Belgium. And
I was going to say Belgium. Yeah.
Because I think it's situational. I need to be at the monastery and have a beer.
Yep.
And then,
we've only been to Brussels and then Liège, like two separate trips. It was only a day because it was like a stopover. Anyway, this cool little beer bar in Liège, and I let the bartender pick a beer for me, I think, and it came in its own special glass because you can't do that here.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so good. I couldn't believe that I liked it. I've never liked, I had like delirium tremens a lot when we were in Brussels because you have to. But man, I think it's just situational.
Well, and I think that's
like, yeah.
But that's what you learn when you travel to these places, is that like you see, like when I went to Stiegel, it was like, okay, this is our Goldbräu, their main Helles or whatever. Like, okay, that's what we get here. But that's the only thing we get here, except for the Radler. But like you go there and they've got like a whole craft line. They've got like dark stuff. They have seasonal stuff. So you like, until you go to these places, you don't even know that they have all these other options. And so,
right, you may never know about this and you might never see them again.
Right.
So take advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go to Belgium. I want to go to Abbey's. I would like to do, I know that they're all pretty similar, Abbey ales, but I have been appreciating them more just because it feels like every year another one disappears or something like that. And it's like,
yeah.
There's
only like 12 or something to begin with.
Yeah.
My brother and sister-in-law went, I don't know, in the last 5 years, let's say. And they went to the one where it's like you can only buy beer at the Abbey. You're limited to a certain number of bottles, and it's only open like 2 days a week. I don't know, like all these rules. And
oh wow,
he brought bottles home. And last summer, when I was visiting home, he's like, "I have this beer. You need to try it." But I had just been in the hospital, and I was on like these crazy like muscle relaxers and pain meds, and I was like, but I'll never have another chance. So like I should.
But you weren't driving. Just drink the beer. I
wasn't driving. Yeah.
You're not operating a forklift. It's fine.
Yeah. So I had some, but I feel like I maybe wasn't in the right like mind frame to like appreciate it. But you know, I was like, I may never have this again. So like, I don't know. I need to do it.
Yeah.
What else do we want to chat about? Who we are, how we are, what we are.
A little about perimenopause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next, hopefully, episode will be more about like what it is.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like growing up, you know, you heard about menopause at some point. Like, it'll come at some point, you know, when you're older. But this whole perimenopause thing is like a new revelation for me.
Well, it was invented 2 years ago.
Right. So. Like whenever you turn 40, that's when it was invented, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I have had a lot of these like symptoms for a long time, and I don't have a lot of female family members, but I do have some cousins in Switzerland that are like early 50s, and they're like, yep.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. I think we just didn't all know it was called like one thing, right?
Yes. It was just, it felt like I must be going crazy. Like I, at first, about 2 years ago, I guess, thought, well, it seems like dementia does run in my family. I was sure that's what was happening. Like I would lose my words in the middle of a sentence. You know, you walk into a room and you're like, not just what was I going to do here, but like, where am I right now?
Yeah.
I woke up one morning and I couldn't remember where I was. And that's okay. Yeah, those are all dementia symptoms too, but they're also very much perimenopause symptoms, like just the complete inability to remember a single thing for long.
Yeah, like I pretty much every day, I mean, like last night too, I walked into the room and I asked my husband, like, what was I doing? And like, where was I going? Because I know I went into the bedroom for something, and he's never paying attention. So like, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or there are times, and like, I'll be honest, like the world is ending. So like, whatever, who cares? But like, if I'm not working every day, like I won't shower every day. Like,
no, absolutely not. Why would you do that?
Yeah. Because it's a chore. And then, but sometimes we have to go somewhere, and I'll say, like, I'll get up and I'll say to my husband, like, did I shower yesterday? Because I don't remember. Like, do I need to shower today? Because we're leaving the house. And he'll be like, well, I don't know. I think when I walked the dog, you said you were going to shower. And so I'll be like, okay, so I was good, you know, but I just like, I can't remember literally anything.
I forget what day of the week it is so much. it makes no sense. I wear this digital little watch
Mm-hmm.
just so that I can know at all times what day it is. I'll
Yeah.
be driving and just suddenly need to know what day is
Yeah.
it. I don't
Yeah.
need to know when I'm driving what day it is. But my brain is like, right now, if you don't know, something's
Right.
gonna happen. And yep,
You're
oh,
you're
Tuesday.
gonna crash.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For most of last
Not
week, I thought it was Friday, like every day, because I wasn't working. My husband has 2 days off in the middle of the week, so it's like Wednesday is kind of like a weekend.
weird.
And so I'm
Yeah.
just like, is it Friday? Is it Friday? It feels like Friday. It's been Friday for four
Feels like
days.
Friday.
And yeah,
That's so confusing.
yeah,
When Chris was laid off for 3 weeks, it was just this weird, like, we lived in pajamas. Like, I was still working, but I was like, I didn't leave the house unless I had to,
right,
because everybody I need is here and
right,
not out there. Like, why would I do that? And so
yeah,
it was like, oh shit, it's like Saturday. I guess I got to go to work. Or, oh shit, it's Tuesday. I have the day off. Like,
yeah,
you find out later what day it is. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, we'll talk more about the
Yes.
symptoms because one thing I'm learning is that a lot of stuff that I didn't realize are symptoms are symptoms. I'm reading stuff on
Yes.
Instagram, and then someone will say something, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, me too," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess that's a symptom," because I just thought I
Okay.
was like had an issue with something.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and then we'll talk about like what you can maybe sort of do about it, if anything, and just how to deal with
Yes.
it. And that's like what we're here for, is to just chat it out and drink
Yeah.
beer, right? So,
Yeah.
um, well, we talked about doing like a fun little segment every week. Like, what was your most perimenopause moment of the week? So, do you have one?
Do I have one? Oh, I don't know if it was a perimenopause moment, or if it was just me acting on muscle memory. Um, I was working in the brew house and we were brewing, and my boss was kind of directing me. I don't have a lot of hand in the brewing process work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cellar person, so I do a lot of other stuff. I had a lot to do yesterday, and so he was just like kind of standing and telling me what hose to move where and what valve to open and what close. So I had done the first part, and so now he said, all right, take off that hose or open that valve rather, and then do this. So there's two valves, there's two holes in this particular tank. One has a
Yeah.
hose attached to it, one does not. They both would empty the tank if I opened them. So I started to reach for the ball valve that is not attached to a hose while the tank is full of water, and it wouldn't, thankfully, it wouldn't move in that moment. And he went, no. And I went, yeah, I know. And I opened the other one instead, the correct one. And he goes, okay. And I was like, I know, I don't. Let's move on, like that. So I don't know if that's a Perry moment, but it definitely felt like, what are you doing? You put that there. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
every time.
Every
Every
time.
time. Is this the right
Yeah.
valve?
Yeah.
Um,
Check your valves.
check your valve, sis. For me, my moment is it's really dumb, but I think it like sums it up accurately, because my husband and I are out to dinner. We were talking about this podcast, and I said, "Oh, like Danielle and I should have our husbands on to talk about being husbands of
Right.
women with," and then I said, "Mary Penopause."
I like that better.
Yeah, and he's like, "What?" I was like, "I don't know, Mary. I don't know. There's a lot of words in there, like P and two P." And so I was like, "Mary Penopause is what we call it from now on." So, yeah,
Mary Menopause.
Mary Penopause. Mary. We'll just
It's
call
so
her
cute.
Mary.
It's so much cuter like that.
Yeah.
It's cute.
So I also wanted to share, like, if we have a fun perimenopause thing that people can read or look at or watch or whatever, we would share that. And so
Yes.
the one that I have, and I don't know if you've seen it, but I send it to everybody, but there was a show in Canada, like it ended like 5 years ago now, but it was the best show ever. It was called Baroness von Sketch. And it was a sketch comedy show, but it was all women. And so they just did all these skits about like issues that women deal with, like
Cool.
being a woman in the workplace, or like dating or gaining weight or turning 40 or whatever. And they do one about perimenopause, and it's just the best thing ever. And so I know you can find it on YouTube. So check it out, Baroness von Sketch. I don't know what it's called. It's probably called just perimenopause, but it's, if you Google that, it's so great. It's so great.
That is excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure how long we've been talking right now.
Me either.
But I feel like we've covered a lot, and we've sort of talked about who we are and, you know, what we want to kind of cover in this podcast. And so I'll say all the fun stuff, where if you want to follow us, you can find us on Instagram, perimenopause, which is beer and then menopause. Hopefully you can find us on wherever you find your podcasts, where you listen to your podcasts, and on YouTube. Yeah, perimenopause.
Yes, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
No.
If you have questions or comments or whatever you want to share, you can email us at perimenopause@gmail.com.
Suggestions.
Yeah, what do you want to hear about? What kind of beer do you want to see us drink? I don't know.
Because we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. If I can find it, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and our next episode will be more about the condition itself, symptoms, treatment, etc., that kind of thing. So, yes, check it out.
Yes.
Anything else we want to say?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Yeah. We're not professional sound engineers, so like, hopefully this wasn't too painful. But we'll get better.
We'll get better.
Yeah, we'll practice. So, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, until next time, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.